Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. If you've not been here before and learned all about the astrological alignments, then I say welcome as a newcomer. To those who have been coming to the channel for a while, I say welcome back. It's nice to see you again. One of the things that I hope to do in this upcoming year in 2024 is to produce at least 2 videos per month. The first one will be at the new moon, and then the second one will be at the full moon. So today is the day that we're going to look at the full moon in January. Let me share my screen here and put up the actual alignment. Now, depending on exactly where you live, because of course we've got time zones and so on, the full moon is on the 25th, 26th. And this is a picture of the full moon right here. So in order to have a full moon, you also must have the sun completely opposite it. And our full moon in January 25th, the full moon is sitting at 5 degrees Leo. Now, that means if you are any of the fixed signs, and your birthday is around the 25th of the month. So what are the fixed signs? Well, we have Taurus, and so that would be around the 25th of April. We have Leo, so that would be around the 25th of July. We have Scorpio, that would be around the 25th area of October. And we have the Aquarian, which of course is where the sun sits right now, at 25th of January. Those are people that we're going to find to be mostly affected. But let me also say, if you yourself have anything around 5 degrees Taurus, 5 degrees Aquarius, or 5 degrees Leo, anywhere, maybe your Mercury is there. Maybe your Saturn is there. And what you're going to do is look on the very outside rim of your own natal chart to see, you're looking for the sign of Aquarius, you're looking for the sign of Leo. And if you have anything roughly around that 5 degrees, then what we're doing is we're seeing a highlight in that particular house. These sections of the chart are houses within the chart. A full moon brings forth a lot of revelations, and the revelations start on the new moon, which of course in January was back at the 11th of January, and it set at 20 degrees Capricorn. That was an interesting new moon, just as it was. But now we've come to the culmination. And the interesting thing with this culmination is that it's part of a T-square. What does that mean? Well, we've got the sun and the moon opposing each other. That's what's giving us this full moon. And then I can draw a line straight out to the side, hence making the shape of a T. So that's Jupiter. This is Jupiter at 6 degrees Taurus. Also one of those Taurus people. If you are born around the 25th of April, 25th of April, that Jupiter is sitting directly connected with your sun sign, and you're seeing a big opening that's happening within your life. Now, this T-square, we're all happening. This T-square is something that is happening up here in the sky. So we are all feeling this sense of this T-square. And first of all, full moons, of course, we're feeling like we're pulled in very opposite directions. Full moon brings full light on that moon in Leo. And if you are someone in life that has a moon in Leo, That is about needing to be first in somebody's life. So this full moon is showing a humanitarian need, Aquarius, the humanitarian need, and what it is that we need to do is to spread love and spread light. We are at a T-square. T-square is coming up here to Jupiter and Taurus. T-square, Taurus is having to do with money and finances and the financial aspects of life. And so this full moon is shining a lot of light on the money that we have actually been sending for humanitarian type aid. And this T-square is asking us, is that the best idea and the best way to do things? Please don't think I'm saying don't go sending humanitarian aid. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying by actually sending money, is that the answer? When we look at a lot of the situations that is going on in the world today, pushing money towards that, is that really being where the answer is coming in? And that full moon, so you can be sure somewhere around that 25th, 26th of January, for those of you who may watch the news. I love watching the news because it's exactly coordinated directly with the astrological alignments. And you can be sure about 25th, 26th, there will either be some combination of discussion about corruption, perhaps. Maybe we sent the money to, I don't know, a certain country. Maybe it just didn't quite get to the aid of the humanitarian people. And Aquarius is that humanitarian sign. So we're sort of caught a little bit in the T-square. Now, when I teach astrology, and I actually teach about T-squares in intermediate astrology, I don't even get into this in beginners classes, I generally suggest to people the way out of a T-square is out the end of the top part of the T. And so really it comes out to the sign of Scorpio. If you know anything about astrology, Scorpio are the investigators. Scorpio are the digging for more clues, looking for more answers. So this full moon is really highly suggesting to us that maybe we don't have the right answers just yet. Maybe there is other ways in order to be able to do this. One of the ways now in the manifestation of love. And I know that there are a lot of people who are very, very, very concerned, and so they should be, about the wars and the inhumane things that are going on. One of the best things that you as a personal, single individual on their own is that you can actually do a type of a meditation where you can send light and love. And that's what this full moon is saying, shining the light on the moon in Leo. The other big thing, and all astrologers, everywhere I look, is all talking about the fact of Pluto moving into the sign of Aquarius again. We were here in January of 2023. We were in this exact same spot in 2023. Pluto came out of the sign of Capricorn, heralding in a new age, per se. It entered into Aquarius in January of 2023. It stayed there January, February, March of 2023. And what it did is that it did that, you know? Did you ever grow up with brothers and sisters that would walk along and do that to you in your shoulder or whatever? Just annoyances, right? Pluto is the god of the underworld. Pluto digs up stuff that most people, we just sort of bury that down, and maybe if we don't see it, maybe we don't have to deal with it. Pluto's like, not so much. So when I also talked about this T-square of where is this money going? Is this money actually reaching the places that we as individuals would like to see it go to humanitarian aid? Pluto's saying, hold on a second, I'm going digging. I'm going to dig that trench, and I'm going to call out a lot of people that maybe are sort of caught with their pants down. That's Pluto. When Pluto enters into a sign for the first time, let's back up. Pluto entered the sign just previous to it in 2008. Pluto went into Capricorn. Well, that was a big demise of a whole lot of businesses. A lot of big business got called out through that timing. And now Pluto is just leaving Capricorn. As I said, in 2023, this is not the first time Pluto's been in Aquarius. Pluto stepped out of Capricorn in January, like the early part of January of 2023, stepped into Aquarius. I didn't get far into Aquarius. Pluto kind of sort of said, let's give the world just a little small taste. Let's not just go whoop and overpower the whole world. Let's just see. And it's all about the sense of freedom and the need for freedom. If you know an Aquarian at all, you will know that he, she, whatever you want to call that person, Aquarius is all about their freedom and their need for freedom. They are also people who think 5 years ahead of their time. And I say this because I'm an Aquarian. And I say this because lots of times I can have full conversations with people, and I know they look at me like, I wonder what planet she just kind of fell from. And I can see it in their face. And lots of times that I will be talking about things, I realize that I'm 5 years ahead of my time and we haven't got there yet. It was 5 years ago that I was talking about the importance of healthcare and how we need to bring in complementary with our regular healthcare in order to work that together to make it one full-fledged healthcare. Well, people, we are there now. A lot of us do not have doctors, and so it's forcing the healthcare to look towards the complementary healthcare. It's forcing people to look into osteopathy, look into chiropractic, look into naturopath, look into acupuncture, acupressure. The exact auxiliary pieces to the healthcare that generally the healthcare all along went, oh no, they're a bunch of fakes. Don't go to them, like don't have anything to do with them. Well, it's interesting. It's starting to become a bit more mainstream. Why? Pluto's going into Aquarius. Pluto says, people, we need to think outside of the box. We need to come out of that box that we've been in, Capricorn, since 2008, and we've got to expand our awareness. So in 2023, Pluto was in Aquarius, January, February, March. We had 3 months. And if you stop the video just right here and you go back and think about it in your own particular life, you are revisiting some of the exact same things you thought about a year ago. Pluto has come back to go, so how do you think about it now? Is it seem to be working a bit better for you now? Is it sort of making a lot more sense to you now? Pluto is saying, maybe now is kind of a little bit of a time to put some of those out of the box thoughts into play. Let's clear up some of the corruption that's going on around us. Pluto will make it as far as 3 degrees Aquarius. Then in May, the 1st of May, I mean, we'll get to this as we go along, but on the 1st of May, Pluto will start to retrograde back. Pluto will go, that's kind of enough. That's about all humanity can handle from me for right now, because Pluto will turn back around again in October of 2024, and then it'll go back into Aquarius because it'll back into Capricorn. We're not quite finished with Capricorn just yet. It will turn around there in October, and it will then make its way forward. Then Pluto is on the forward motion for the next 268 years before it gets back to Aquarius. So you and I won't be worried about that. But it's going to be till 2040, it'll be in Aquarius. And so there's lots of things and differences and changes and so on that will be implemented with this Aquarius. Now, people think this is waves of water. It is not. It is waves of electricity. So we're also going to see a lot of shifts and changes around the electrical side of life. It's interesting about the electrical vehicles and Pluto, what Pluto is sort of saying, yeah, we got to back up on that. We got to have another thought on that. Maybe it's not quite going the way that everybody wanted it to. Pluto is also, Aquarius is also about, ahead of our time. While Pluto is in Aquarius, I guarantee you there will be UFO communication. Now, again, we're there up until 2040. And yep, I know some of you may be thinking, oh my God, what planet did she just fall from? But I guarantee you. And Aquarius is also very much, as we said, about electricity. It's also very much about futuristic type things. I will also make the thought that we will get into Aquarius is, if you think Star Trek, think Aquarius. So I think we will also get into flying cars that will be able to get from point A to point B. Now, are we going to be able to do the beam me up, Scotty? That's a little bit out of my range thought, but we might. Who knows? When Pluto went into Capricorn, we were all working in very big business. We were working in very large companies. We were working in very large buildings. Pluto finishing off in the last bit of Capricorn, most people packed up their stuff and went home. We had a connection in January of 2020 where we had a lineup with Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter. And that in itself was the beginning of the new Earth, the new changes. Now, a lot of you, I'm sure, think, oh yeah, well, COVID came and that created a lot of the changes. Did COVID create the changes? Or was the changes that brought in COVID? It's something to think about. I say that COVID was manifested on some level of some kind. COVID was manifested in order to get us to this point. If it wasn't COVID, it just would have been something else. The universe needed us to get to this point in time where Pluto is now back into Aquarius. And let me say, the way you think now is not, I 100% guarantee you, is not the way you thought in 2020. It wasn't. And the more Pluto moves forward through that sign of Aquarius, the more shifts and changes we're going to see. Okay, enough about Pluto. I'm sure I'll get to talk about Pluto so much more as we move our way along. The next planet actually we're going to see make a turn is Uranus. Now, in traditional astrology, before Uranus was discovered, Saturn used to rule the sign of Aquarius. Then with Saturn was the last planet to be able to be seen with the naked eye. Then, of course, on came the advent of the telescope, and we could actually get to see further out than Saturn, and other planets got discovered. So as the other planets got discovered, then they had to give rulership. So what they did is when they got to Uranus and Uranus got discovered, they said, Uranus, what sign will we have Uranus be the ruler of? And Uranus is the planet of unexpected events. Aquarius, they're as odd as they can get. As I say, I'm an Aquarian, so I can say that. We don't fit the norm. We don't like rules. We don't like to be told what to do. We don't want to do what society tells us we should do. You know what? Uranus should probably go as ruler of Aquarius, because nobody can ever predict what an Aquarian is going to do. Uranus is being an Aquarian, is our ruling planet. When we look around, Uranus is the only planet right now, as I'm doing this full moon video, it is the only planet that is presently retrograding. Everything else is moving forward. Yep, we have a couple of the asteroid goddesses, maybe, but in reality, Uranus, that planet of unexpected events, is the only planet that is retrograding. And for those of you who are watching this, I have no doubt you can feel Uranus. Let's go. Let's go. Don't hold me back. Let's go. Let's go. I want to go right now. Uranus will turn direct on the 27th of January. With Uranus turning direct, you can expect the unexpected. And I think that's when we are going to see the greatest pieces and ideas connected to Pluto. Absolutely. And on that same day, that 27th of January, on that exact same day, we've got Mars and Mercury together. Mars is that planet of aggression. Mercury is that planet of communication. And they're both in the sign of Capricorn. Now, we say Mars is exalted in Capricorn. We like Mars in Capricorn. And you will hear me if you follow my videos. And while I think about it, if you haven't already subscribed, please go below and subscribe. Press the subscribe button and press the bell button so that you'll be notified when we get further videos. So you will hear me talking about as we go along here, like Venus is in Capricorn. Venus don't like being in Capricorn. So Venus will be happy to get out of Capricorn. Mars, you would not think that Mars, aggression, and Capricorn, business, practical, would really get along all that well. But in reality, Mars loves being in Capricorn because you know what? It forces organization. And on that particular day, When Uranus turns direct on the 27th, it is creating a trine. We like trines. Now, astrologers lots of times will say, mind your trines. I teach that when I'm teaching beginner astrology. Mind your trines in your natal chart. But Uranus will ignite talks and ignite conversations. Now, the 27th of January is on a Saturday, but watch the news through that time period, because somebody gets a sense of organization. Maybe they will be putting together a team to look into all of this process. One of the things I have been watching over the last while is certainly Iceland and the volcanoes and the lava and, you know, the destruction of the town, which breaks my heart. But every time in the sky, you have a connection with Mars and Uranus, you have some huge weather events. And aren't we seeing that everywhere? It seems like everywhere on the Earth plane, there is like flooding or snowstorms or volcanoes or earthquakes, or there is a section of astrology called astrometeorology. And nope, I'm not an astrometeorologist, but I do know that when you have Mars and Uranus in a bit of a fight or a connection, you have world events like weather events. And now we're going to add into that Mercury. And I know in astrometeorology, Mercury is also connected with wind. So there will be some massive, massive winds. So that often turns out to be tornadoes that will happen through there. So that's Uranus turning direct. Let's move forward to the 28th. And you see, even on the 28th, we still got Mars and Mercury at 18 degrees, still really affecting Mercury or Uranus. Now, I have to say on the 28th, so I'm going to draw another line here. And this is the nodal axis, the north node to the south node. And in through here, we have planets, Mars and Mercury at 18 degrees Capricorn. And we've got the north node and the south node at 18 degrees. In astrology, this is called in the bendings. This is some very serious conversations. And I can only hope, I can't predict here, I don't know, but I really do hope that there is some serious solutions that get made here. And thinking about it, even in your own personal life, because this is all happening up here in the sky. So even in your own personal life, because this is going to show up differently in absolutely everybody's chart, you know, Libras and Aries are really feeling this vibrational shift that's going on in their life. Libras are feeling a bit of a sense of loss, a bit of a sense of grief somehow. Life is changing, and perhaps not in the exact way that they would like to see it go. And Aries are being offered situations that they're actually feeling, oh, can I make this happen? Like, can I add this on to what I'm already doing? So you want to pay a lot of attention to the conversations that happen on the 28th of January, because that's a big make or break kind of day. That's a make or break kind of day for everybody. Then we're going to get to the end of January here. And the big key with this, on this particular day, on the 31st of January, we've got the moon lining up with South Node. And we've got North Node lining up with Chiron. The universe will be asking you to release and let go of something going on in your life. Something that you originally thought perhaps that it was going to bring in some balance and harmony and centeredness for you. Chiron is next to that North Node. And Chiron in our chart is that feeling a bit of that wounded warrior. And I know like when I work with people, because I do life coaching, soul coaching, when I work with people, we spend a lot of time in our natal chart to work our way through our Chiron, because Chiron lots of times can trip us up. It's really our Achilles heel. But guaranteed there will be some situation that the universe will be asking you to release something out of your life that no longer can actually provide balance and harmony as you once thought it would be. Let's go. We're still got Mars. You can see we're still into very early February, and we still got that alignment between Mars and Uranus. So we've still got weather, massive major weather situations going on the Earth plane. When we get to, well, let's go to, now we go to the 5th of February, and now Mercury has changed signs. So Mercury is lined up with Pluto. Both of them will be at 0 degrees on the 5th of February. There is lots of talk, lots of discussions on endings. Pluto's about endings. Pluto is saying, you know, we go through life with all these strings hanging off of us, and it keeps us back so much. It's time to release those, and it's time to let a lot of that go throughout life. Mercury opens that format for conversation, and you will find that your conversation will go from what was going on back here to futuristic. Mercury has gone into Aquarius. Remember, 5 years ahead. Lots of conversation that will take place on that particular day. Our next big day really takes us around the 8th of February, and that's coming into the new moon. And I'll do the next video on the new moon. But when we get to about the 8th of February, we are in what we call the dark of the moon. And what happens there is like that feeling of that sense of darkness coming up to the next new moon on the 9th of February. So what we will find here is that, you know, our planet's Vesta is going to actually start to, it turned direct on the 8th of February, Vesta. And that's a very positive piece for us, because it actually allows us the discussion, once again, of the movement forward. The asteroid goddess Vesta sat at the gates of the Vestal Virgins and decided what young man was able to go in or not. And so with Vesta now turning direct on that day, it is a day that we are able to take kind of control and so on of our life. And that then takes us up to the next new moon, which I will do the next video on when we get closer to it. One of the other things is as well, again, being 5 years ahead of my time, about 5-6 years ago, I did some very in-depth, deep dive into the world of gemstones. And one of the things I've chosen to do is to highlight a particular gemstone according to the sign that I'm doing. And when I get to the new moon in Aquarius, I will tell you what that actual gemstone will be, and I'll do a big write-up on it. I did one for the new moon in Capricorn, and that is the gemstone garnet. That gemstone is a gemstone about worthiness. And so I have a huge article on my sorry, not my Facebook page, but on my website. I'll put the link down below on my website with regards to the article about garnet, and how if you are having any type of a feel of not worthy enough, feeling that you need a bit of that worthiness, how to be holding it, how to work with it. If you're going into your boss to ask for, a step up in the job or a step up in money, you should always take a garnet with you. The vibration of the garnet will help infuse you with that sense of worthiness. And I think with Pluto going into Aquarius, this is the huge time to bring out that full discussion of gemstones as well. And I have a wealth of knowledge to share with all of you on my website as well, which again, I've got the link down there. There's also articles, tons of articles that I have written and have just been there. For those of you who are on Facebook, I have a Holly Pool Astrology Facebook page, which I write in often daily. So if you're not already there, come along. There's lots of free information. Thank you very much for joining me on this journey connected around this full moon in for January. And I look forward to seeing you again. So once again, if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe, press the bell in order to get notifications. Thank you. Catch you in the next video. Bye.